Hello everyone, I'm the Canadian Gaming Penguin. As part of the Starlight Celebration event this year, we have letters from different characters in the Eorzea, and as I didn't include them in the playthrough of the Starlight Celebration event itself because of the length of it, I'll be going through that in this video. As far as I know, and what others also seem to agree, there are 13 letters in total, and I've done a little bit of research that helps that I had a character that was still in the middle of the level 20 main scenario quest, so I know for certain that 6 of the letters will be available, which makes sense because each time you completed a quest as part of the event, you would get a notification saying, "There's a new letter that has arrived." So those are the Realm Reborn-related ones. As for the Heavensward, I believe there are 3, and then for Stormblood there are 2, and for Shadowbringers there are also 2. I will be having markers to tell you when the Heavensward or the Stormblood or the Shadowbringers letters are coming up, so if you don't want to see that, you will know when to stop watching. And if you don't have these letters, I'll also be mentioning what kind of content from what the ones that I do know are likely what you need to complete to actually be able to see this letter. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. And if you've forgotten, you need to speak with Bainfeld here, who says, "Thank you for your invaluable aid, friend. The Starlight festivities never could have happened without you, and my colleagues and I are far from the only ones who appreciate your efforts. Letters have arrived from across the realm to thank you for your generosity. Just see for yourself." And as you can see, I currently have 11 of them. Unfortunately, I am not done one of the ones for Stormblood or for one of the ones in Shadowbringers. Those involve the raids, and I'll mention which ones specifically, but they involve raids, and I'm only about halfway through the Shadowbringers ones, and I'm still very early on in the Stormblood-related ones. Don't ask me why I started with the Shadowbringer ones first. But anyways, I will be going with these in order for each of the expansions or the base game, so I'll be starting with the Realm Reborn ones. So, the first one up is the Drowning Wench, or the letter from the Drowning Wench. Doing your part to assist in the Starlight festivities, are ya? Little Batterin tell ya these fresh-off-the-boat adventurers that showed up here these days could learn a thing or two from ya. All about the glory those types are. Work in the fields at Summerfold, but I want to save the world. Ha! Mayhap ye should learn to avoid becoming gooboo mulch first, I say. But you're different. Aye, you understand that putting a smile on even one lonely child's face is as heroic a deed in its own right as fending off a fleet of pirates. Merry Starlight to ye, lass, and may your sails always be full. And next up, Carline Canopy, or Carline Canopy. I hope this letter finds you well, Celebrin. Amy tells me that preparations for this year's Starlight festivities have been more trying than ever. I regret that I could not lend a hand myself, but watch over the young ones who would follow in your footsteps. Keeps me occupied as ever. As if that weren't enough, what with the deep chill in the air these days, it is all I can do to keep Figaga's gift from freezing and cracking in the cold. It is not an easy or glamorous task, but it is one I would not entrust to one another. No, for though the work may be strenuous, gazing out at the great wheel in the stillness of the falling snow, these moments of tranquility I would not trade for anything in the world. I hope that you too are able to find some measure of quietude and respite amidst the revelry of the Starlight season. So that letter is most likely from Mione, who is the keeper at the Carline Canopy. And the Drowning Wench one was from Batterin, if that wasn't obvious. And the next one up is the Quicksand, and we'll see who it's from. I heard one of my regulars saying that the Starlight might be cancelled this year. I almost spit out my drink. But later I caught word that you were on the job, and I knew at that moment there was no cause for worrying. I, of all the adventurers I know, and believe me, I know plenty, don't understand quite as well as you that there's no deed too small to be meaningful. Least of all the task of warming the hearts of children who find kindness and good cheer all too hard to come by in these trying times. So feel proud, Celebrian Saragon. You've done right by the realm today. Safe travels and don't be a stranger. Insert your name. And that is, of course, likely from Mobity, who is the Adventurers Guild leader person thing in Ula. Next, we have the Maelstrom Command. For those of us who have spent most of our lives at sea, the Starlight Celebration is mayhap not as close to our hearts as it is to others, and yet each year at this time, when I hear the calls of the birds migrating from cooler climes, it gives me cause to reflect. As sailors, we look to the night sky for the guidance of the stars. It is they who show us where we are and who illuminate the path before us. Were it not for these beacons of light, we would be lost at sea, and before long find ourselves drowning in the cold depths. This got me to wondering, might it not be said that the smiles you have put on the faces of the children this season serve a similar role, as they brighten the hearts of Eorzeans the realm over and raise their spirits in these times of uncertainty? I, for one, believe so, and for all you have done to that end, you have my thanks. And that, of course, is likely from Merlwib Blofisvin, as I may have butchered her name, who is, of course, the leader of the Maelstrom, well, the Admiral, and the leader of Limsa Lominsa. Next up, we have the Lotus Stand. I'll ferry you in the preparations for the festivities, my good friend. Firstly, on behalf of all Gridanians, let me express my most heartfelt gratitude for your most selfless acts this special season. I have given much thought to the matter of what my fellow Seedseers and I might do to bring even more joy to the children. And I do believe I have come upon just the idea. You are familiar with the tradition by which children write letters to the spinner containing their most heartfelt wishes to place under the Starlight Tree, yes? I have determined that we will attempt to grant as many of them as is within our power, and have recruited a number of like-minded souls to aid in the cause. In doing so, I hope that we will inspire that many more smiling faces here in Gridania this Starlight season, and that the elementals will smile upon our efforts as well. And that one, of course, is from Kane Senna, who is the leader of the Gridanian area, or the Black Shroud area particularly. And next we have the Fragrant Chamber. You keep wanting to call it the Fragment Chamber. On behalf of the Sultanate, I commend you on your efforts in saving this year's Starlight Celebration from an uncertain fate. Some would say that snowmen feel out of place here in the Jewel of the Desert, but I have naught but fond memories of being a young girl spending sleepless nights in anticipation of what the saint would bring me. There are those who would proclaim that it is base and shameful to engage in revelry at a time when our realm faces such continued hardship, yet I could not disagree more. If we have any hope of leading Eorzea to a brighter future, then it begins with ensuring that every young boy and girl out there looks toward tomorrow with a smile on their face and the confidence that happier days are to come. For all you have done, and continue to do, toward this end, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And of course, that one is likely from Nanamo Ulnamo, who is the leader of Ulda and the Thanalan area. And that concludes the Realm Reborn areas. The next two, or three, rather, will be the Heavensward-related ones, so if you're not there and don't want to have spoilers, this is where you should stop watching, and if you are going to continue watching, thank you for watching, and for those who are going to continue watching, please enjoy. Now we have House Borel. This likely will require you to complete Heavensward. My friend, it is both an honor and a pleasure to see an Ishgardian tradition bring joy to children all over the realm thanks to the tireless efforts of you and your colleagues. On behalf of my entire nation, I offer you my gratitude. While nothing would make me happier than joining you this season, I regret to say that these remain difficult times here in the Holy See. There is much that requires my attention here, leaving me with, most unfortunately, little time for levity. Still, I must give thanks that I am able to celebrate the occasion with a restful night in the company of my loved ones here at House Borel. Be well, my friend, and I look forward to the day when we might feast together in these halls once more. And that is likely from Amaric, from Ishgard. And I'm not going to dive into specifics. The next one is Bigwest Shortstop. And I believe you may need to have the Alexander raids completed for this one. Roundrox heard that Uplander is collecting all sorts of whirly cogs and bitty bobs to give to children. Roundrox can give Uplander secret treasure too, if Uplander wants. Shiny junk, sparkly rocks. No matter how small, treasure gives to children big dreams like just like Roundrox is dreaming. Yes, Roundrox dreams of new future, sparkly, shiny future with all heart wishes of children come true. Future where mighty and friends are waiting for Roundrox. Yes, Roundrox will handmake city of great treasures for that day. And of course, the goblins speak in third person, or refer to themselves as their names, so that is of course from Roundrox. And next up we have Menphina's arms, and I believe you need to have completed the collectible thing with Zloe, as we see in a moment. The Starlight Celebration? Why, is there any better time of year? Not for the children here at the Arms, that's for certain. Why, even now they toss and turn in their beds and hope that the saint will show up at any moment. Addercog, Addercog, I butchered the name, whipped up a batch of ore fruitcakes to celebrate the season, and guess what he did for Zloe? He put in pineapple as a special treat. Why, it was so scrumptious that the kids and I gobbled it all up straight away. Have you ever had fruitcake? If not, you simply must try it. No thanks. Rowena tells me she's selling it for, and I quote, the almost insultingly low price of only 300 scrips. Feel free to buy a whole batch. It keeps better than pineapple pudding, so you can carry it around for weeks before it goes stale. Speaking of which, I probably should clean out the kitchen. And I presume that's from Zloe, but I could be mistaken, and I could also be butchering her name. But anyway, that is it for the Heavensward ones. Next up will be the Stormblood ones, so if you're not wanting to watch the Stormblood ones or Shadowbringer ones, thank you for watching. And for those who do wish to continue, onwards to the Stormblood ones. First up is Rhalgr's Reach, and I believe you'll need to have completed the Stormblood main scenario quest. When I first heard that there may not be a Starlight this year, my heart broke for all the poor children out there. How relieved I was to then hear that you'd come to the rescue. After all, what's building a few snowmen and putting some stars on trees to the liberator of Alamigo? Speaking of which, there's been talk of celebrating the season here in Alamigo next year, and you'll never guess whose idea it was. Why, none other than Robon himself. Seems he's rather keen on the idea of donning that scarlet garb. I too was thinking I could touch up some traditional Alamigan dress and put together something suitable for the season, and prepare plenty of presents for the children here, of course. I have to show everyone here that I'm good for more than just fighting, right? And I think this one might be Lise. I could be mistaken. And next up we would have the Traveling Bird one, but I do not have that one. That is requiring the Omega raid series. Anyways, so the letter, if you don't want a spoiler, I won't skip this next 5 seconds. Alpha and Biggs are likely the two people from this letter. And hopefully you skipped far enough. If you don't want to know the Shadowbringers letters, thank you for watching. For those who do, continuing on. The Fairy Kingdom is the next one. You open the envelope, but it is empty. The very next moment, you feel a tingle in the air. The faint smell of wildflowers wafts on the air, and a voice echoes in your head as if from far away. I take one little peek, and what do I see but my sapling having a grand old time prancing and frolicking about in the snow? Did it not occur to you that mayhap your beautiful branch would have liked to join you for this merry occasion? No, this simply will not do, and so to teach my thoughtless sapling a lesson, I've imbued this little missive with an incantation. Yes, the moment you so much as think of enjoying the starlight festivities with someone who is not your beautiful branch. Oh, but I jest! Were you taking me seriously? Why, nothing gives me greater joy than to see you actually enjoying yourself for once. I always thought you could stand to learn a thing from us fae folk. And why, yes, it seems like you have. Till we meet again, my adorable sapling. And that, of course, is from Fae-Ul. And I'm going to assume you need to have either completed Shadowbringers or have at least met her. And if you don't know who she is, I'm not going to explain. The next one up is A Distance World. Unfortunately, again, I do not have this one. I need to complete the Eden Raid series, which is what you will need to complete to be able to get this letter too, and I'm not going to explain anything about that as well. And that should be all 13 letters, or well, technically 11 letters in this video, as again, I have not completed the raid series for the Omega raids, and also the Eden raids. So, if you haven't completed those, you know what to do as well. If you found this video helpful and or enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button. Please also consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Anyways, that is it for this one. Thanks for watching!